Hi, I'm Peter Birch. This week we're here in beautiful South Africa, but in particular we're here in the bushveld area, well known for its grasslands and open woodlands, typically with the acacia trees, very popular tree here in South Africa. Welcome to CrittaCam. What better way could you start the day by finding a little baby Nile Croc? This guy is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I mean, he must have only just recently separated from his mother. Well, I'm really hoping he has, because, you know, the Nile Crocs are well known to take very large prey, including wildebeest, bison, and also zebra. And I mean, for me, that's pretty frightening. They have a very maternal instinct. When they first hatch, these little babies come out and the mothers look after them. And that's the reason why I'm really hoping Mum's still out there and she's not just sitting close by here. But I tell you what, these guys grow to about 5 meters. They're a great looking creature, very spectacular, very iconic animal for this area, including the hippos that you will find out in the canyon here. And I mean, I tell you what, it's a gorgeous animal. I think it's time to let old Grumpy here go. It's hard to let him go, but it's got to be done. Let him go back into the water, hopefully to carry on the rest of his life. See you, Grumpy. That's gorgeous. So we're scratching around out here amongst the trees and the bushes, and we found this little beauty right here. This is a 5-lined or a rainbow skink. Very distinct with these very bright bands down the back here with these 5 lines, very distinctive lines, and also this bright blue tail. Now, these are very interesting little lizards. These guys here, in fact, lay eggs. The females can lay up to 6 to 10 eggs. And what's very important, or very impressive, is that the females, particularly in the northern parts of the range, can double clutch twice in the year in the summer months. Now, that's very impressive for a skink species anywhere in the world, I reckon. The other very impressive thing about this particular skink is the coloration of juveniles. Very bright. And I mean, the tail of these guys is extremely bright blue. And as you can see with the adult females, they do retain some of that coloration. This is because the males are very territorial, so therefore if a male comes into the area, they'll actually drive it out of their little colony situation. And how do the males tell the difference between females, juveniles, and other males? Well, as the males get older, they start to get these white speckles down their back. But with the females and the juveniles, they typically retain more of the stripes and the bright blue of the tail. That's pretty important, I guess, when you want to tell the difference between another male sneaking into your colony, trying to take over, or whether or not you're part of the family. These guys are rad. Look at what we just caught. This is the black-lined plated lizard, very close to the yellow-throated plated lizard. They inhabit the open bushveld areas, including termite mounds and old rodent burrows. I mean, an absolutely spectacular species. They're called the plated lizard because of these hardened scales on their backs. And I mean, it's very uniform, but for me, I tell you what, that's quite attractive and astounding looking animal. I mean, look at the brightness in that yellow right there. It's a gorgeous little critter. These guys are very fast moving. I mean, they cruise through the bush here, taking down things like grasshoppers and beetles, and occasionally taking down the odd snail. That's pretty impressive. The females can lay around 4 to 6 eggs. That's very impressive. This particular specimen here is a male, and how do we know that? It's because it's got a large line of femoral paws on the inside of his legs here, and he's quite brightly coloured. And I tell you what, that's a pretty good find right there. Let's keep on looking. How lucky is this? We finally caught a giant plated lizard. These guys are typically a very skittish animal. In other words, when you see them out in the open, they take off pretty quick. They'll go into any rock crevice they can find. They'll actually inflate their body, making it very difficult for you to extract them because their scales pull backwards. And I mean, pulling against their scales, it makes it easier for them to jam themselves in, but very difficult to pull out. The other scary part about extracting these little beauties here is these guys can actually lose their tail. So you need to be very careful. We were lucky enough to catch this guy right here. They're an egg-laying species, laying between 2 to 4 eggs. These guys will take any opportunity when it comes to food. They'll eat small lizards, they'll even eat insects, they'll eat fruit and flowers. So these guys are basically eating everything they find. They're an omnivore, a true omnivore right there. I mean, you can tell that this guy here is actually a male because he's got this bright orange flash on his jaw here. And I mean, that's a pretty cool find right here. Very similar to some of our Gurnia species back in Australia in their habitat and the way they behave, and also in their body shape. And I tell you what, this is a very cool find here in Africa. Like everything you got to find, you got to let it go. See you later, buddy. Having a poke around here, we found this guy here, the Bronze Gecko. I mean, these guys are very willing to bite, and I mean, this guy's bit me a few times. They're a gregarious species, which means they live in a colony, and there's quite a few within the same area. They inhabit all sorts of areas, including dead trees like this, right through the rock outcrops. They're an egg-laying species, depositing 2 eggs. These guys are a little bit different to most geckos. They actually take the opportunity to eat other geckos or other small lizards as well as insects. And I mean, these guys are very feisty. And I mean, look at that. That guy there is just so willing to take a chunk out of me right now. I mean, it's a gorgeous little animal, but I tell you what, he's got a bit of a nasty nip. It's time for you to go, buddy, before you take a little bit more of my skin. There you go. Can't believe our luck. I mean, we just come up this track to look at the 3 roundables up here. Great scenic areas to look out across the valley. Magnificent. And look down on the Blyde River, which we cruised on the other day. And luck would have it, we found this Mozambique Spitting Cobra in a crevice in the rocks right beside the track. It's pretty scary. I mean, the Spitting Cobra itself is one of the very few animals that uses venom for defense. So these guys will actually open their mouth very slightly, and they can actually project the venom towards their prey, or actually anything that's actually annoying them as well. And believe it or not, they can shoot that about 2.5 meters. This guy's been pretty relaxed at the moment because it's winter, and like I said, he was hiding in that rock crevice, minding his own business. This is about the average size of an adult, but they do get extremely big. I mean, these guys can get to about 1.5 meters on exceptional size. They're an egg-laying species. And just like I said before with that venom, it's cytotoxic, which is completely different to most other cobra venoms. And I mean, this guy is very alert. He's starting to warm up in the sun. It's probably the best idea that we take him away from the track where everyone is and let him go on his way. And hopefully we don't get sprayed again. That is a pretty cool find. So I guess something a little bit unusual when you're herping. I've taken the opportunity to have a bit of a dig here in the elephant dung, looking for a dung beetle as you do, but I found something different. This here is a very unusual, it's almost like a legless lizard. It has a rear limb with 2 toes on each limb. These are endemic to the area, just like the Bronze Gecko. The low-felt dwarf burrowing skink, particularly a very interesting species. I mean, a gorgeous little animal here. It's also got this bright blue coloration and silver markings down its back. And I mean, very difficult to hold on to. Just like a worm, it's just constantly moving in your hand, trying to get away. And you can see why they're a bit of a burrowing species. The cool fact about these particular little lizard is that they give birth to 1 to 2 little live babies, and it's usually around about late summer to early autumn. That's very different, I guess. But I guess when you're living in elephant dung, you're really not going to have too many predators or too many issues. I'm going to stick him right back where he was living. And good luck with that one, buddy. Man, I tell you what, that was an absolutely amazing day. I don't know what you guys found the best or the most fascinating part about today, but I tell you what, it's a different experience herping when you actually got to wear glasses because something's going to spit in your face, or actually keep looking over your shoulders because something's going to probably take you down with some of these apex predators here in Africa. Today, I reckon my best, or my favourite, was the Mozambique Spitting Cobra. Let me know what yours was in the comment below. Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Until next week, thanks for watching CrittaCam, and I'll be still watching over my shoulders.